Alright guys, this is a review of the Marshall Mathers LP by Eminem. We obviously realise it's a little bit late by about 11 years, but we just want to do at least one music review. Okay, the Marshall Mathers LP, this was Eminem's second sort of publicly released album. It was it was a sort of commercial success. I think it was number one in the UK album charts at the turn of the century. In the new millennium. And yeah, so it was sort of got Eminem focused on the real stage, on the world stage. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna talk about some of the songs on the Marshall Mathers LP and why it was so popular. We're not gonna talk about sort of the skits because they were sort of the comedy and the joke songs, but we'll talk about some of the more sort of famous songs from this album. So we'll start with. Why don't we start with probably the most famous song on this album, Stan. So Stan was a sort of massive hit for Eminem. It sort of released Dido to the world stage, I'm sorry to say. But Stan was. It talks about sort of obsession with fame. Talks about sort of obsessed fans, and also talks about the way some of it's sort of autobiographical of Eminem's feelings at the time, for how he was sort of cutting himself and stuff like that. So what would you say about Stan, Marcus?
Yeah, I really love Stan. It's one of his best hits, in my opinion. It's one of his most serious songs I've actually seen, but I'd say that does talk a lot about how music can actually inspire people, maybe not so much in the best light, but I mean, because it's talking about some guy that gets so obsessed with Eminem that he basically just lives his life based off of Eminem's lyrics, which is not the best thing to do because of well, you'll see if you watch the music video for it. Yeah. But I mean, I actually think it's really good, and it's actually got a message to it. So yeah, I really like Stan. So
I think Stan was his biggest selling hit ever. I mean, I wouldn't say it's probably his best. I would leave that for Sing for the moment. But from this sort of period of his life, I would say that this is his best song.
So yeah, I'd probably say that Stan, if I had to rate it, I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10 because I thought it was really good and had really good, had something to actually say, rather than most rap records, which is more or less just about having sex and guns and violence and that. But this had actually got a message. So
yeah, I myself would give it 10 out of 10. I mean, in the rap songs of all time, I think this would definitely be up there. So we'll go on now to sort of another thing of Eminem. What he usually tried to do was put in a comedy song. So the next one is The Real Slim Shady. I think not only is this a comedy song, it sort of talks about like, a lot of people copying his image, his style. I think that's also, like we were saying, what Stan was about. A lot of people sort of copying his image and style. I mean, when this came out, he was sort of like the only white rapper, the boy from Detroit, who grew up in a sort of working class area, in a sort of very black area in the suburbs. What would you say about The Real Slim Shady, Marcus?
Well, I really like The Real Slim Shady. I mean, it shows that he has a sense of humour about him. I mean, like, he just come onto the rap scene, and I mean, he's one of the first. He's the first white gangster rapper, and that I know of. Anyways, so yeah, and he wasn't getting accepted by anyone because he was white, and I mean, this just shows that he's got a sense of humour about things, and like he doesn't take anything like too seriously. Like he's saying, don't take any of his lyrics seriously. He doesn't mean anything. He just rapping for and rhyming because of it. Sounds really good, and it's basically just showing that he can joke about it because of it's not serious. It's just music. It's It's not anything to do with the real world. So. Yeah, Slim Shady actually is really good. Real Slim Shady is really good, and I like how he introduces comedy into rap, and does it in a really good way. So yeah, I'd say Slim Shady LP is probably 9 out of 10. So yeah.
Real Slim Shady. No. Slim Shady LP is a different album.
Yeah, Wilson
Yeah,
saying.
Real Slim Shady. Okay. So yeah, the Real Slim Shady I thought was an excellent song. Obviously, it sort of introduced him in his sort of the comedy way. Yeah, so I would say it's about an 8 out of 10. So we'll go now to The Way I Am. Another part of Eminem is how he sort of saw his fans as they were kind of getting on his back. So we said just now, Real Slim Shady, people trying to copy him. He was saying in this, like, just leave me alone, let me live my own life. If I don't owe you anything, I'm not friends with you, just leave me, I'll make music and you can buy it if you want, but just let me live my own life.
Yeah.
What would you say, Marcus, about The Way I Am?
So I'd say The Way I Am is an extremely good song. It's one of my favourite Eminem songs because it's showing you that how most recording artists basically look like they care about people, and then they just like they're just too big headed, and they just say they care about people, and then they're just like, nah, fuck you whenever anyone goes near him. He's just like he's just going to be that way so that no one expects anything of him, and it basically shows that, and it shows that if he annoys a fan, it doesn't bother him because he's got so many, and he's got such a big fan base, and also because of he doesn't really care about what people think of him. He does what he does. He enjoys it, and that's all he cares about. He doesn't care about if he upsets anyone. He doesn't care about if a fan doesn't like what he says. He doesn't care if so many people just want to be friendly with him, because he just wants to make music and live his life how he can, and live with his family, because his family is all he cares about, which makes sense. So I'd say that The Way I Am is actually probably one of my favourite Eminem songs. I'd say it's probably a 10.
I would give The Way I Am about an 8. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't say it's better than Stan or some of the other songs he's done in the future. But The Way I Am sort of introduced him as sort of, I just want to make music. I don't want to be friends with you. I've got loads of fans. I can't remember everyone. So yeah, I would give that an 8 out of 10. Marcus, you can pick a song too.
Okay, well, I'm thinking maybe because we're running out of time here, just talk about a couple more songs, maybe a couple of his more controversial songs.
Kim?
So, I was thinking maybe we talk about Kim and then Criminal.
Okay.
Okay, so
Kim.
first of all, Kim. Now, Kim, it's a pretty messed up song. It's basically about him murdering his wife after his ex-wife after he's found out that she's been cheating on him. And it's pretty demented what he says in the song, and it does speak words for how he felt at that time. And I mean, it's a really good song, but it's pretty demented. So I'll probably say that Kim's probably an 8 out of 10, basically based on how demented it is. So Chris,
Kim,
yes?
a bit of background to Kim is that Kim was Eminem's ex-wife. He has a child with her. I think Haley is his child.
Yeah,
with her.
Haley.
So so what he was saying is that if I can't have you, no one can. I mean, he would later go on to say that it was all a joke, and I think they did get back together, which means she must be sort of mental. But on the other hand, I would say Kim as a song on its own is like, A, it's demented, B, it's mental, but it's also very sort of interesting, for want of a better word. So I would give Kim a 7. Next one, Marcus.
Okay, so Criminal. Criminal is basically Eminem's attempt at just basically generalizing rap music as a whole, and basically he just talks about all the sort of subjects that is in any rap song if you listen to it, and he says how he basically just puts across how amazing it is that people can get away with saying so much, and without any consequences. So he's basically saying how come he's getting so many complaints about his music when he's basically just saying everything everyone else is saying to a more extreme degree. So I really like that idea of Criminal. I'll probably say Criminal is 10 out of 10 for the message it's giving out.
What I would say about Criminal is that he's sort of saying, whatever I'm saying, I'm only joking, which is sort of like we just talked about Kim. He's saying, Well, if you believe that I'm going to do that, why am I not in prison? I mean, if you and what he's saying, I think Eminem's whole sort of message is that what you're all saying this in your front rooms. I'm just saying this out loud, but I'm getting in trouble for it. I'm saying what everyone else believes, but I'm getting in trouble. Okay, so yeah, I would give Criminal. I would give an 8 out of 10.
Okay guys, since we're running out of time, we're just going to give our overall verdict, and based on most of the songs on this, I mean, there's so many good ones. I'm going to give this album a 10 out of 10. It deserves it. I mean, so many of the songs are just amazing to listen to, and you can listen to them over and over again, and I'm still not getting bored of them, so take from that what you will. Anyways, Chrissy?
I would definitely say that this album is in the top 10 rap albums of all time, and I also would give it a 10 out of 10.
Okay guys, so that's Mark Smith 50 and Chrissy S 1009's first music review. This is both of our first music reviews ever, so please take that in mind when commenting or whatever. So that's pretty much it guys. This is Mark Smith 50 and Chrissy S 1009 signing out.